Bonjour and welcome to Clover Culinary, where we cook fabulous food with flair here in my kitchen in Jersey City. So tonight's dish that we're going to make is Moules Mariniere. It's a classic gourmet French food and it is delicious, nutritious, doesn't cost much, and it's so easy to make. In fact, the whole thing will cook up in only 10 minutes. Now, Moules Mariniere is also called mussels mariniere. Moule is mussels in French, and a lot of people are afraid to cook shellfish, but they shouldn't be. It's so easy, and I'll show you how. It's just mussels steamed in wine, butter, garlic, and it is delicious. I have my fresh mussels right here, and we'll just heat up the pot, and then we'll steam the mussels in. Now, mussels really don't take much preparation. You just make sure that you scrub them under cold water when you buy them. And it's best to cook the mussels on the day that you buy them because you want them to stay fresh and alive before you cook them. Just scrub them down, getting grit or barnacles. There's not really barnacles on there, but you never know. Get all the grit off them, and there's strings that fall out of them, and it's called the beard. So you shave the beards off with a knife, make sure the little strings are actually these mussels. Didn't even have any beards, or they were practically clean when I bought them, but you scrub them down anyway, snip off any hairs and beards, which is called the beard, and you make sure they're alive. They should be closed tight. If they're open a little, you just knock on it and then it will close, and then you know it's alive and fresh. If any broken shells, you just throw them out, or if any that are open and they won't close, you throw them out. You just keep these clean, scrubbed, because you don't want sand in your mouth when you eat. And you get sand in your mouth when you make love at the beach, but that's unavoidable. But you don't want any sand when you're having a fancy gourmet food. No. So these are sand-free, beard-free, sand-free. And we'll steam them up after we heat up all the ingredients. And I have my pot right here. So first thing you do, of course, is heat the pot up. And then the first thing I'll add is my olive oil. You could use olive or extra virgin olive. But I just have olive oil here, and we'll heat this oil up. So now the first flavors we're going to add is fresh onion and fresh garlic, which I already pre-chopped off camera so it'll cry on camera. Of course, onion and garlic is a delicious flavor that's used in a lot of French, Italian, American food. You just stir these up and you let it heat until the onion is translucent and see-through. It should take about 2 minutes, maybe 3. And so once the onions are about done, we add our wine. White wine is the best, but of course you can use any wine that you like. And I use cooking wine, but you could use real alcoholic wine. Either one is fine, and delicious white wine has all the flavor and none of the alcohol. Now if you're using alcohol wine, this is about 3 cups. It's about 3 cups of white wine that I'm adding. Now if you use alcoholic wine, you want to make sure that the alcohol gets burned up, because the alcohol will leave a bitter flavor, but I don't have to worry about that, so I just use cooking wine instead of alcoholic wine. Just smell it, and if you can smell the alcohol burning your nose, there's still alcohol in it, so just wait a few minutes if you're using alcoholic wine for the alcohol to steam away. Okay, I don't smell any alcohol in this because I didn't put any alcohol in it, but if you know what I mean. Oh, it smells so good. Now, you can add as much or as little wine as you like. Some people like a lot of wine taste, and I like to add, here I have it, some vegetable broth. You can mix up the wine-vegetable broth ratio according to how strong you like the wine taste. I'm just going to add a little bit of vegetable broth. I have 2 cups here, but I think I'm going to add about 1 cup of the vegetable broth. And this is cooking away. And once it comes to a boil, and it looks like it's about coming to a boil already, and the last ingredient we add to our steamy broth is butter. I have a cup of butter here. You add the butter last because butter has a tendency to burn, and we don't want burned broth, do we? So I add the butter in. It's room temperature, so it will melt faster. And then once the butter melts and the liquid comes to another boil, we'll just add our mussels. So now I'll add my mussels or my moule and I'll steam them up. So you just add all the mussels in there, give it a nice mix. The mussels have a nice moisture inside, so when the mussels cook, they'll open up and the moisture will come outside, and there's meat inside the mussels too, as you know, and we'll eat the meat. You just put the lid on there, and in about between 7 to 10 minutes, they should be steamed, and you'll see the mussels will be open. The mussel shells will be open, like adorable little baby birds with their beaks open, they'll look like. And that should take about 10 minutes at the most. You don't want to overcook them, so really don't do it for more than 10 minutes. Now while the mussels are steaming, you want to add some fresh parsley, and it goes great with it. Now don't be afraid to use too much parsley. Just use a lot of parsley, and it goes really great with the mussels. So I'm just going to chop up some fresh parsley. And we'll add that to them just about right before they're done, or right when it's done. We'll add the fresh parsley to the mussels. Mussels are the most nutritious. Mussels are very nutritious. They have a lot of zinc and magnesium. They're totally low in fat, have vitamin B12, and they are delicious, and they're very, how do I say, not expensive. Yeah, not expensive. So, and that's all there is to cooking them, is just putting them in the wine and butter and oil. And they also call it drunken mussels. If you steam mussels in wine or beer even, they call that drunken mussels. My family in Ireland and Britain, they say that they make mussels in beer a lot, and it comes out really delicious. And the alcohol from the beer will eventually boil out, and you steam the mussels in it. So after about 5 or 10 minutes, you want to check to see if the shells of the mussels are open. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, depending on how big the mussels are. And oh look, most of the shells, it looks like they're all open. Great, so now I'll add the fresh parsley. And give it a nice stir. And then you want to take out the mussels that are opened. If any aren't opened, leave them a little bit longer. Maybe they'll eventually open. And if they don't open at all after 10 minutes, just throw them in the garbage. That means they were probably like not fresh when we put them in. I'm not sure. Let's see. That was only like 6 minutes. So I'll turn the heat off. Looks like all my mussels are opened. Because then you want to check it to see if it needs seasoning. And I forgot to say, you don't need salt. This is one of the few dishes that you don't need to season with salt, because there's already salt in the mussels and the mussel liquids, because it's from the sea, of course. So let me taste it to see if I need any more seasoning. And I do not. It's delicious. So there we have it. Now, people in France and in Belgium, they like to serve it with French fries. And other people like to serve it over noodles or pasta or rice. You need something to absorb the delicious Mariniere sauce. So I have a dish of noodles. It's right here. In America, we put ketchup on our French fries, but if you want to serve it with French fries, be authentic French, just go ahead. So I'll pour some of the delicious broth over the noodles. And then add some mussels. Keep them right in the shell. People usually keep the mussels in the shell. Sometimes with clams, I like to take it out of the shell and chop it up, but mussels are small, so you don't really need to do that. And you can add some more fresh parsley on top. So don't be stingy with the parsley. Use a lot of parsley. And do you have it? Moules Mouliniere. It's pronounced Mouliniere. Moules Mouliniere or mussels Mouliniere. A classic, delicious French recipe that's delicious, nutritious, and so easy to make. Bon appetit, as they say in France. Bon appetit.